With so many variables at play, it's evident that rapid and urgent transformation must take place in the retail sector. Well, the Property Sector Charter Council, the PSCC, has been responsive to the changing environment. It will introduce a collaborative industry-wide skills development program that leverages skills development spend to create an impactful and sustainable effect on the property and retail sector. In our Social Newscast with me, Sam Marshall, today I have a chat to CEO of the PSCC, Portia Tau-Sekati. Portia, thank you very much for your time. What has happened to the property sector in the meanwhile and the way COVID has impacted your industry?
Simon, thank you so much, and thanks for touching base again. And really, in the industry, really, we've had, obviously, you would know our industry is very big and very broad, but specifically, we've looked and we slowly touching on different areas of the property industry. But specifically today, we're talking on the retail upskilling program, where we are looking how actually COVID has actually impacted really our retail, particularly initially with the independent shopping center that haven't been able to survive through the COVID, some of them, especially during the hard lockdown. So we are looking at really upskilling those kind of businesses so that they can be sustainable. First of all, they can survive and then become sustainable. But for them to become sustainable, obviously they need to actually have the right capacity and capability. So they need to be reskilled in order for them to be able to survive through, particularly when you look at things such as e-commerce. People have actually socialized themselves into electronic buying, e-commerce buying. So, and those kind of independent stores don't have that capacity and the understanding to get into that market by themselves. So we've looked at how do we actually make such stores survive, and so that we can give SMME, keep them going, and then keep the jobs going. Obviously, then keep everybody staying alive and thriving even under these difficult conditions.
So what does that practically mean, Portia? What is actually going to happen in terms of this program? How will it work from a nuts and bolts perspective?
So what really, I mean, in a nutshell, basically, we want to upskill those businesses we train them so that they are able to actually they are equipped to be able to have the kind of customer experience that the customer has been socialized to the changing environment, so that they are able to bring the value to the customer that they need, and then they are able to survive and thrive and be sustainable. But at this moment, what we are doing, we obviously want to get the buy-in of all the retail property owners, the seaters. So because seaters, especially from a skilling development, is part of that. But we also want, more importantly as well, we want to re-stimulate our economy and transform our SMMEs and drive that skill set. So that's really what we intended to do. We want to re-stimulate our economy. We want to bring the jobs back. We want those businesses to continue to survive. We really want to be working together. And we are very aware that we can't be working independently at this point in time. So we are bringing everybody together and saying, socially, let's bring everybody together and let's stimulate the economy so that we can actually uplift our social economic status right now.
There is going to be criteria for property owners who want to be part of this program. What are those criteria?
Well, a lot of property owners, they've got a lot of independent stores in their things. So we will start with the independent stores. And look, I mean, I'm not saying independent stores are the only ones affected. Of course, chain stores are the also ones that are affected as well. But independent stores have got less resilient. They are less resilient than their retail shopping centers. So it's those property owners that have got those retail, that's got those independent stores that are at risk after the COVID to almost shut down. And remember, for property owners, they also don't like those empty stores, those covered windows and
Yes.
Wrapped around shops. They don't like them because it doesn't serve them well. It means no rental for them. And to actually even look for somebody else that is also new, it takes long, it takes more money. So for them, it's also, from their side, it's also a benefit, because working together with them to keeping those stores going is actually a benefit from their side. So we're talking to those property owners that's got those malls with a lot of independent shopping centers that are really running independently but are struggling to survive.
Well, we've always talked about it at a national level within the various chambers. We talked about the idea that it was going to take bold action to change our economy. Partnership or strategic partnership is such a key component. I heard you say that we want to bring these organizations on board. We want to talk to the SETAs. Where are you at the moment, and on which level are you in terms of those partnership agreements, those negotiations to make sure that it can happen?
Well, we are in a fortunate space, I must say. We've actually been able to touch base with the two, obviously the two primary SETAs. One being wholesale and retail SETAs that are very keen on, and we are just finalizing that part of it as well. And then you've got the services SETA that also has the property chamber as well. But there are other SETAs that are coming on board as well that also want to be part of it. So we are on board with quite a few SETAs. So we are talking to those SETAs as well. And with the property owners, we've actually got a reasonable buy-in now, especially from some of the big ones. So we are just in the process of really finalizing and getting to the nuts and bolts of actually signing those agreements. So we must say we are in a fortunate space. And I think we are so because I think, as you said, this is just one of those programs that's really talking to everybody about what we need to do and how we need to do it. It's about spending money, but the money that will actually enable, that it creates an enabler for your own revenue, for your own growth, for your own survival. So it's not just spending money. It's like, and we spoke about it earlier prior to our interview on where social investment becomes actually a revenue driver in one sense. And this is exactly part of those things.